your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love, oh, oh. It's easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love. Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light. Feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as the years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love, oh, oh. There's nothing like the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away. And the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light. Feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as the years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love, oh, oh. If the sky is falling down on me, you'll be the one that's by my side to lift away from me. And if I find myself in reckless days, you'll be the one to pull me back into reality. Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. Oh, oh. It's easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love. like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence, life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, easier to love, oh. It's nothing like the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away, and the light in your eyes tells me stories of life.
Oh, well. I thought I would give that a shot. And yes, everything is looking right on the screen. How are you guys doing today? Foil would be great if it would actually work. It didn't. I don't know what's wrong with the thing. It doesn't want to work for whatever reason on YouTube, and it should, because I've tried it before. Right, Dawn? I've tried it once, and it worked then, and I haven't been able to get it to work since. I have been able to get it to work on Twitch, so I don't know. So how is everybody doing today? Got a bunch of folks in the chatter box. First person in, and I need to do something special for this. I'm going to have to figure out a way to do something cool. But first person in is Miss Maureen Pryor. Welcome, welcome. And then we have Brenda, who is in like a minute later, so really quick. We have Maureen and Brenda and Cordelia all in like 3 minutes before we were about to start. Leah's popped in. We have Crystal and Miss Dawn is in. And Dawn, if you are doing a live stream at 7, which you probably are, let me know once you've got that set up so I can set up the raid so we can go over to you when we get done here. And Brenda's mom is okay. Dad is back. Now has bad back pain. Most likely an injection once he can see the specialist and get an MRI. That makes sense. Okay, I hope that they're both feeling better. Give them big hugs from all of us. And she says, Debbie, where are you? That was 3 minutes ago. Well, I'm right here, hun. And then I tried to do the darn, oh, and it's still trying to play over here. I don't want it to play anymore. Okay, stop it. I think I'm going to try it one more time and see if I can get the link to work, but I'll do that later. Okay, let's stop the game. I don't want it to do it. Turn off the autopilot. Shut it off. Whatever. Yeah, it's on that screen. Anyhow, lots of people saying foil because what did I say? I don't know if you guys were checking in the Discord. I think that's where I posted it. And I posted it on Twitter, I think, saying that I think I'm going to play with stencils and foil tonight. I don't know what Cordelia was needing to wipe her hands off for, but anyhow, she's probably cooking or crafting or something. And then Dawn says, well, there you are. Okay, we have Brenda has no power in Carmel. Oh my goodness. You might want to save your battery power on your phone then. Good grief. Okay, so Dawn is, well, of course I missed the end of that one, so sorry about that. So Dawn is not going live tonight. And just scrolling. Leah, that's not nice. You need to give her some big hearts in the chat. Leah says, oh, Dawn, we're not important enough. Of course we are, but we all have lives and stuff and things do happen. So that is totally understandable. So, oh, I see that Donna has waved in the chat. So hello, Miss Donna. Okay, I think I said hello to everybody. except for the folks that are lurking, and that is totally fine too. So anyway, what my thought process was, you know, I've been doing a lot of stuff with foil, but I've been doing a lot of stuff with hot foil. And even in the Card Maker Success Summit a couple of weeks ago, even in that, there were a lot of questions about foil in general. So I thought, well, you know, I haven't taken out my Transfer Gel Duo in a while, so why don't we play with that? And then, of course, I sat down here about like, what, 4:30 and decided, you know, maybe I should go ahead and play a little bit. And I started going through some of my newer stuff, like the stuff from Hero Arts. That's so cool. And I decided to try out the stamping one. I've shown you guys how you can stamp. This has been at least 6 months to a year ago. Showed you how you can stamp and then foil using embossing powder, and or you can use Duo Gel. So I did the Duo Gel. I may not have let it dry long enough, and then I did some ink blending over it, and this is the result. So let me move the camera. There we go. So this is what that one wound up looking like. So I did get quite a bit of foil in there, but you can't really see a lot of the design. I mean, this is kind of pretty and it'll make a cool background, but I probably should have gone with maybe a darker color for the foil, like a dark blue or something. I think I have some green, but anyhow. This is the stamp. So it was Hero Arts Cling Stamp. It's the first time I've done it with rubber stamps. I have done this with I have done this with some clear stamps, but I haven't done it with rubber, and I'm thinking rubber's probably going to give you the better results because, of course, rubber stamps do give you a much cleaner impression, and I think that they're probably harder to damage. But this, I think, turned out kind of cool. I did 2 of them, but I don't think I burnished down the foil enough the first time around, so that one's in file 13, but this one I think turned out pretty good. And I just used some blue and then put some red over it, which turned in that purple. So that does look kind of cool. And this would probably be good to have some like a mermaid that is like brighter color, and this would be kind of a dark background. So I think that's kind of cool. Okay, looking in the chat, Dawn says she loves that. Donna likes it too. Thank you, thank you. But I went ahead and got out my binders of stencils, and I do have some other stencils in here too that are fairly new. The layering stencils, I think that would be really cool if at the end you did like a an accent, but I haven't played enough with these to know which part would be the accent, so that I'm not gonna do that one today. But I figure I can do something with one of my other stencils that are in here. And I got a ton. I've done a lot of with the hearts. I do have this one that's coffee, and I think that would be kind of cool too. A lot of it depends on what colors of foil I have, which I know I've got gold, I know I've got silver. I have more hot foil than I do toner foil, so I'm not 100% sure. But that may be something good for an experiment too, is to see how, because people were asking me whether or not you could use hot foil on toner projects. I'm saying yes, it's more expensive, you don't want to, but I don't think I've actually tried it because price point, right? So we've got that one from Honeybee, I've got the hearts from Simon, I've got the leaves from Simon, I'm pretty sure I've got some green, so that would be pretty. I've done this one before, but it's not around Halloween right now. I think I think the last time I was doing the foil with the Duo Gel was probably around Halloween, because I remember I did this one from Whimsy, which has got the little bats, and I haven't even actually used that for anything. I'll send you some brown wave foil. Hot foil on toner will stick everywhere. That's my assumption, and that's what I've told people. But you know, if you haven't actually tried it, that's the thing. I believe, you know, you should go ahead and try everything and see if it works. And there's a lot of things that logically make sense, but I've got no proof because I haven't done it. So I've got plenty of Halloween stuff in here and some Christmassy stuff. And I've got some Easter eggs. That would be kind of cool to do. These are from last year, and I kind of, yeah, I made a real big mess with them because I didn't clean them soon enough after using Simon Hurley. Because another thing you can use with your stencils to get that pretty shine, of course, is going to be Simon Hurley Lunar Paste, right? Oh, and by the way, hello, Miss Elizabeth. And my clicking thing is not working. Yeah, you guys can say hello and goodbye to the peanut gallery because he had to pop his head in. Maureen said hi, Todd. Okay, and my YouTube is a little bit behind me, but that's okay. It's a good way to test your waste foil, so if you don't have them marked. I use a tiny bit on regular white paper. If it sticks, then it's hot foil. Yep, understood that one. I've also got some hot foil. Actually, I have some brand new hot foil that I sent an email this weekend to Yana because I don't know who to report this to and I need to experiment with it first, but I've got a couple of rolls of foil that I just recently got, hadn't ever used them before, and they weren't sticking quite right when I was doing hot foil with them. One of them didn't stick at all. The other one, I think that one is a coppery brown kind of color, but my bright fuchsia or magenta, it wasn't sticking right, so I couldn't use it on one of my, I think it was one of last month's videos, so I wound up using a different foil. Oh, Todd's got a fan club. He's out the door already. He's actually getting a late start riding his bike today because of the time change, which means he's going out at about the regular time. It's just that it is an hour later for the rest of the world because we are on the time change and he has chosen not to be. Yeah. Anyhow. Okay, so could do that. I think I did something like that last year too. I'm not 100% sure what I want to play with. And that's probably because I'm tired. I worked most of the day editing a video that will be up tomorrow afternoon for you guys. And it is hot foil with the Glimmer of the Month. So that'll be nice. And when I'm looking through these, what winds up going through my head is the last time I used them with you guys. It's like, oh, those were so cool. This one is nice. It's got some, and I'm not even sure it's the actual branded one. It's got no label on it, but this one's like confetti. So that would be kind of cool on any kind of background. I'm thinking actually on pattern paper, if I have some down here. See if I've got anything that would be fun to use. Because I still have that box where, remember last year I said I was going to start using my pattern paper. This was before Halloween, and I cut a bunch, and I still haven't used it. And some of these came with foil on them, so that's all my Halloween junk. I'll just grab out one of these and maybe put some hearts or something on it. Now, what the plan is, I'm going to use this stuff. Now, I have the old transfer gel. Originally, the transfer gel it is used for doing heat transfer or transfer onto your cardstock and stuff. However, the other one required that you run it through with a laminator. So you had to use heat with it. This stuff dries tacky, so you don't have to use heat with it. So you can run it through your die cutting machine, which is probably what I should have done. And I still have my Gemini Junior sitting over here. So I think I'm going to give it a workout today instead of bringing my Platinum 6 up here in the middle of all the things when I'm making a mess. So I think I'm going to do that. I just turned it back on. I'm still tired over the weekend. I told you guys that, but I did do something good today though. This morning, first thing I did this morning is I went for another walk. So that's 3 days of walking time in a row, which I've been taking breaks kind of in between. I think this one would be kind of cool too. So this kind of looks like paper, like garbage bag crumpled up. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm just making it up as I go along. Good time to use it now. Yep, absolutely. And I took out a foam blender to use with my stamps, because you don't want to really put a lot on there. You kind of want to just tap it on. And so I already threw out the thing on there because it was still old from before. So I'm going to use a little bit on a spatula. This is a kitchen spatula because I don't know where my other silicone brushes are. And I'm just going to spread it on there. And this is going to take a bit to dry, but this is basically all you got to do to get some foiling and a cool design if you got a stencil that you like. Hello, Miss Sandy. How are you doing, honey? So it's not rocket surgery or anything. It's not complicated. Foil is a little intimidating because it looks so pretty. But it's really not that hard to do. I'd say that the first foil projects that I did, somebody asked me to make something for them because I was doing, cards and stuff. And this was a long time ago. I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing yet. I was just trying things and watching a lot of YouTube to learn how to do all the things. And this lady asked me to make her some foiled luminaries is what she wanted. And it's like, and she wanted them on vellum. I'm thinking, I can do that because, I figured it shouldn't be that hard. So I looked up online how to do it, and it wasn't difficult. It was printing onto some vellum with your laser printer, and then I'm probably putting more on here than I need, but that's okay. It'll be a cool background. And some places it's going to be thicker than others and all the stuff. Hello, Tumbling Tangles. How are you, hun? Okay, so now I'm moving my magnets out of the way and getting out my tweezers so I can lift this off. And so that's what the design is going to look like once it dries. So that's going to be really cool. And guess what I did not bring in here? I did not bring in a bin of water, and you need a bin of water because this stuff is going to dry on there like glue. It'll be sticky glue. It'll be kind of like Tombow 2-in-1. And I just realized I've got some kind of weird, oh, I know what it is. Because of the time of day, the light is coming through the trees there, but not as bad as usual because last year I wouldn't have been able to see, but we've got a bush that's high enough now that it's blocking it most of the way. Now, when it moves a little further over, yeah, it's going to be in my face, but that's okay. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get a bin of water so I have something to put these in because I don't want it to be really hard for me to get them cleaned off because, of course, I want to use them again, right? There, okay.
Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh, easier to love, oh, oh. There's nothing like the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away. And the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining
Okay, so now I've got a bin of nice hot soapy water off to the side, and this is starting to dry a little bit. You can tell that parts of it are starting to get a little bit more clear, so I'm going to set that one off to the side. Yeah, I know what I need to do. Haven't done this in a bit. I've got a couple of cutting boards that are perfect for this because I can just move them out of the way. And I haven't done it, like I said, I haven't done a lot of the backgrounds in a bit. And I have not seen that name in my chat in a couple of weeks, I think. Hello, Jim. How are you doing? You've probably been in here and then I just got wrapped up and didn't see you. But hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. And I'm just looking through some more of this paper to see what else I can do. That one's already got foil on it, so we don't want that one. Okay, I think I'm gonna do on this one, it's got some green on there, and then I'm gonna add, I do need to fix a couple of these buttons on my thing. It's like, yeah, I need to do that because I'm doing the whole face cam thing and I want to be able to move it around better. And it looks like last time I used this stencil, I didn't clean it too well. That's okay. I'm going to put some hearts down onto this panel. I'm doing the same thing. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing the same exact thing. This thing is really too big to go in there. What did I do with my other ones? So I'd rather use the silicone. Okay. Using a combination of other things. And putting this guy in that bucket of water to try to clear off some of that. I had to have Todd open this thing because it had been long enough. It really, the glue really congealed on there really, really well, and basically made everything stuck. Okay, hopefully I'm not going to trip over anything, but if I do, okay. So Judy's in. Hello, Miss Judy. So I am in Florida as well. We're supposed to have some rain this weekend. It's like, what is up with that? I don't understand that. But yeah, we're going to have some rain this weekend. Yeah, I've got friends that are doing the whole St. Patrick's Day pub crawl kind of thing, and that means that they're going to get all wet in the middle of their pub crawl. Isn't that going to be fun for them? I'm not going to be out there. Gonna put some more down, and I need to remember whenever I scoop anything out to use the back of my spatula, because otherwise you can't really put it down. You can't get it down onto your card. And having a big, I don't even know what the thing is called anymore, but that's what umbrellas are for. Yes, but yeah, no. They won't be carrying umbrellas. I know these folks. I mean, they'll go out even if it's pouring down rain, and I know that. They'll go for a run walk in the rain even if it's pouring down. Okay, someone tries to call me, and it's always spam. And if it's not, they will leave a message and I will get back with them. Hello, TR. How are you doing? Yes, it's a scraper, but I'm thinking I thought it was I was thinking it had a better name than just scraper. Okay, let's pick this one up and not get my hands all in the mess. Okay, this one, I spread it thin enough because I was using the scraper thing that you can hardly see the little hearts, but they are there. So these are going to have to dry the rest. They're going to have to dry before I can use them and put foil on top. Not a smart move. I've got gel on my mat. I know. And now I have a baby wipe. And I have Windex. It's like it all works. That's the reason that we use the mats, right? We use the mats so that we don't have it all over our desk. Now, if I had this on my desk, that would be a bad thing. So I'm putting that one in that bin with the other. Okay, and another one that I took out. Let's see, what else do I have over here? Got this pretty one. And I could put that over this as well. I think that'll look kind of cool. And the color of the foil that you use is going to make a big difference on what your design is going to look like in the end. Because you've got your nice pretty background, because I'm trying to use up some of my pattern paper. And yes, I am going to attempt to actually use them on a card in the next little while. Let's just say that, because I'm real bad about not using my backgrounds. Welcome, Susan. Welcome, welcome. I love having new folks in the chat on my live streams. Okay, so basically what we're doing, and I'll go back through this, what I'm using right now is Decofoil Transfer Gel. So it's just like using any of your gels or pastes through a stencil. So I'm going to basically just put this down, put some of that on there. And I've got 2 jars of this, and then I have 2 jars of the original. Yeah, I've got way too much of the stuff, and I have not used a lot of it. I think actually I've used quite a bit, but I don't. It lasts a long time. Now I'm using a scraper tool to just finish putting it through all of the gaps in this Simon Hurley stencil. You can do the same exact thing using something like Lunar Paste or any of the other pastes. Like I love Nuvo Paste, and I love Simon Hurley Lunar Paste. And I'm even using some pattern paper because I don't use it much. Hello, Lucy. How are you doing, honey? I think I want a little bit more on this side. Okay. And now I'm going to use my tweezers. I'm going to first move my magnets and lift up my stencil with my tweezers. And just pull that right off. That is going to be lovely. I'm pretty sure that I have some green toner foil in here somewhere, and I'm thinking that would be real pretty with a dark green. So I don't know if you can see it. Yes, you can see it. You can see where there's that white over the texture that's in the background. That's where the transfer gel is. And what this basically is a kind of glue. Okay, all of the pastes you use are going to be kind of a glue. This stuff, the Transfer Gel Duo, dries tacky. It dries tacky, so once it's dry and once it's clear, you can add your foil to the top. Now, I'm hoping, that's one reason for making sure to spread it on really thin. I'm hoping some of these are going to dry in time for us to be able to add the foil onto it today before it's too late. I do have a little extra time though if I kind of run past 7, because dinner time is now 8 o'clock because of the time change, and Dawn has decided not to go live afterwards, so I won't be going into her regularly scheduled time. Another way that I've done it using the transfer gel is actually with stamps, and I'll show you what I did with that. I showed that to the folks at the start. I did one earlier today, and where did I put it? Elizabeth, did you steal it? I know you didn't steal it. You don't steal from me. Yeah, I had it before I was pulling out stencils and stuff. There we go. So this is a stamp from Hero Arts. This one is called, if I can find it, I think it says Deep Sea Bold Prints because the writing is so teeny tiny, and that's the only place on here that it's listed. But it's this really cool background using, you know, it's basically a big background stamp. All the part that's on black here is what you would be stamping if you use this as a stamp. You know where yours is. Okay, so Elizabeth says, nope, but I know where mine are, so you can borrow. Anyway, this is a rubber stamp. So you see, it's got a lot of surface there. So I decided, you know, I haven't done this in a while. Let me see how it's going to do with this kind of stamp, because I've done it with clear stamps before. But having this much solid surface means it should do pretty well. And I use this to apply the Duo Gel to the stamp before stamping it down onto a piece of cardstock. It dried pretty quickly because it was such a thin layer, and then I foiled over the top and then added some ink blending to it. So that's what that wound up looking like, using this with a stamp. So you can do it with stamps. Now, just so that you know, you won't necessarily get as clean and crisp of a look as you would with, say, heat embossing or stamping with some good ink. Or for that matter, using a hot foil press. A hot foil press is going to give you the crispest, cleanest results, regardless of what you want to do. This gives you a different kind of result with that pretty foil. But you can definitely get, regardless of which one you decide, you can always get a distressed look if you want. I mean, this is, you can see over at the edges, I didn't have quite enough of the Duo Gel on there, so it didn't go all the way to the edges, and it's kind of flaky there. But I think that turned out really pretty, and you can see, like, here's a little fish down here, but you can see a school of fish here, school of fish here. You've got those seaweed vines showing through from the background, and I think it turned out really, really nice. Not 100% sure that I got the color combination right, but I haven't done this in a while and haven't tried it, so I thought, you know, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Since then, I've worked on these three. So this one is the first one that I did, and it's starting to dry, and it is sticky. It's sticking to my fingers, but you can tell there are some parts of it that are not quite as opaque as it was. So what we want is the whole thing to become clear, all of it to be shiny and clear. Looking at the hearts on this one looks like it's close to being ready, and that's because all of the holes were so small and I got a real thin coat on there. So this one should be done sooner, and then we can add some foil to it. And I'm pretty sure that I have some green toner foil. Now, my toner foils, they're all pretty old. I don't know where I got them from. I think I got most of them off of Amazon, but it doesn't really matter. If it's a toner foil, it'll work. You can also use hot foil. However, hot foil does usually cost more than what you can get a toner foil for. Just saying. Okay, so I've also got this one that is some coffee beans, and I think that would look cool if I've got a brown or something. I do know that I've got some browns in my hot foil. I don't know if I've got any in my toner foil because I haven't done it in forever. I'm kind of liking the idea of doing this on pattern paper, you know, colored pattern paper that I haven't used. So which one do I want to do now? Why not? So basically what I did about a year ago is I decided, you know, I've got too many pattern papers. I'm going to start using them. And then I haven't done it. And what I did is I cut down some of my pattern paper, just took the 6x6 pages and started cutting them 4x6. So that means I have 6 inches here, and then I get 3 panels. So I get 6 panels out of each 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper. And I didn't pay attention to where the design was or anything. because I just wanted it to be used as some kind of a background. And that is kind of what I'm using today for this. This one has already got some brown, so if that had like a bronze over it, I think that would be really cool. And then we've got these coffee beans from Honeybee, and I think that would be kind of a cool thing to do. Looks like a saggy butt. Okay, Leah. This is actually a scroll. So this is supposed to be paper from that side, and then it's a little bit ripped here. So that's supposed to be from like a piece of a book or from a scroll. It's supposed to be paper. You were funny. Oh, by the way, Leah, I did get that video that we were recording yesterday over on Twitch edited today, and I've got it scheduled to go up tomorrow, I think at 5 o'clock. So the full video is going to be over there, because I know you had to pop out a couple of times so you missed parts of it. But yeah, and this is also where, because it's got a kind of a cool design, I think I'm going to just put coffee beans on part of it. Like over here. I think that'll be kind of cool. And these are some magnets. This is a glass mat from Glassboard Studio. It's a magnetic mat. So it's got this big piece of steel on the back of it. You can't unsee it. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, back to foiling. This mat does have a steel plate on the back of it, so when you use your magnets, and the magnets they send you with it work really, really well. It'll hold your stencils and everything in place while you make your mess here. And right now it's kind of sticking down enough. I don't think it's really going to move. So that's good too. Yes, I'm making a mess. No, the butt's gone. Don't touch the butt. Okay. So someone said something about that they weren't sure how it would work out with foil and such since they have animals. I've got cats, and I've already seen at least a few black cat hairs. Worse than that is I've got long hair, so my hair gets stuck in some things too. But you can usually take care of that, right? If you dust your foil before you use it, you can usually get your embossing powder and dust and hairs and stuff off of it before you stick it down into the adhesive, so it shouldn't make a bad look. So we're gonna have to see once I get one of these dry enough to be able to see how it's gonna actually look. Okay. Putting that down, and now let's lift up this. And I think I got it close enough to that line that it's going to look pretty cool. But kind of want to clean off that edge a little bit. So, probably don't need to use a craft knife for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to try to clean off a little bit of that excess that went over that little line there. And what I'm talking about is the part that went over this line of the scroll, just to make it look more cohesive. And what I should have done is masked it off. If I used a piece of tape for that, then I wouldn't have gotten any of this adhesive on there, because that's what this is. This is adhesive, meaning after I get done, I'm probably going to need to tape that off before I put the foil on there. So remind me, don't let me forget, but tape that one off. And then after we're all done, after the foil's been added, I'll need to make sure it is hit really, really well with an anti-static powder tool to take care of the stick, just like we would if we were using any other kind of adhesive, because this is going to dry tacky. Okay, so getting out a second one of these, and you can see all that white it's going to turn clear before we're going to be able to use it. Okay, let's clean this part up and then take a look at our panels we've already done and see if they're close enough. Okay. So since this one looks as clear as it does, I don't know if you guys can see it, it is still a little bit cloudy in some of those, but mostly clear. So this one is mostly dry. And that makes me happy because I can't really see it as much on the others. This one looks like it is pretty much clear all the way around. So I'm going to say this one is going to be done enough for me to go ahead and try. And you know what? If it messes up, it's okay. It's only paper. Let me move these back out of the way, and then I'm going to look in my cabinet and see if I've got some green foil here, you know, out here and not in my other area, other storage area. And yes, I do. And I'm stepping over everything. Okay, so this is some bright green, which does look very much to me St. Patrick's Day-ish. I'm just going to take out a sheet. And because this worked well with doing a... no, I'm not going to do that. I need to put some paper or something down on here so this doesn't stick. Okay, I'm just going to lay this down here and put this over the top after making sure I've got no dust on that foil. Hello, Miss Linda. And then we can just take this and place it right down onto our foil. Now the reason I'm doing this way is so that I don't have to try to cut it before I put it down, because it's going to be a little bit of a pain. And I can already feel that I'm getting my fingers in the adhesive. Okay, let me lift that up. And you can see it is sticking in a lot of places. You can tell that, right? So now I'm going to just trim this off with my scissors that have now deserted me. Okay. I'm moving the foil out of the way. And then I'm going to grab it. Actually, I don't have that big of a mess here. I'm going to go ahead and bring out my Platinum 6. Just move some of the things out of the way a little bit first. Because that way you can kind of see it go through. So we're going to run it through the same way that we would our dies, okay? So I've got my platform, and for this one, I'm going to just use 2 plates. I'm not going to bother with using a magic mat, mostly because these are a little bit warped and have got different things imprinted into them. Whereas I do have a couple of fairly new plates from where I got the replacement for this, so they're not really marred yet. I'm just going to put this down in there and put it in between my plates and then just run it through. Now you can burnish it, just burnish it with your hands, but it's not going to give as much pressure and as smooth the pressure as if you run it through your machine like what I'm doing here. Okay, and now when you look at it, you can see all those little hearts, so you can tell that it's really pressed into the adhesive. And as long as the adhesive was dried to tacky, we should be good. And next I need to get it off of my... Need to get it off my plate. It is sticking to it. So there we go. Couldn't get my fingernail or anything under it, but here we go with all those pretty green hearts. And I did not use a hot foil system for this. Didn't cost any extra money. It took more time. But it also means that there's a lot of creative ways that you can do this, because there's a lot of things that you can do with stencils that you can't necessarily do with a set stamp type of design. And that's kind of what a hot foil press is. It's got a specific design that you're able to do. I knew Elizabeth would love this, because you know what? This is her favorite color. And I'm thinking this is that would be real cool for like a St. Patrick's Day kind of card. Or for that matter, having that green in the background and having the hearts in rainbow would be really pretty. I think I've got some rainbow too. So that's that one. And that also means I've got a good green to be able to do the other that isn't dry yet. I can see it is still milky in a lot of spots, so this one is not ready yet. And that one's almost ready, but not quite. I think it's just that the design was able to, because of that spiral design, it was able to leave more bits to kind of have a little bit more depth than others. Do I keep saying your name? No, but I will. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Crystal. But I know what you mean. At least I think I know what you mean, because I've had that happen to me before. It is so weird. I'm not really that much of a superstitious person, but there have been times in my life where I have been more so, because it's been weird. When I had my condo before moving in with my current husband, before we moved in together, I had a townhome that it's 2 stories. It's, you know, I would be upstairs in the upstairs room. There's nobody there because it's just me. This is the place that I got after my first husband passed away and I did the downsizing thing. But I would just out of the okay, Crystal, that makes sense. But I would just, for no reason, I would just hear somebody say my name. And I'd look around. There's nobody there, of course, because there was nobody there. And I don't think it was anybody next door either, because although I sometimes heard them going up and down their stairs, because it was, you know, we were right on top of each other. I've never even lived in an apartment, so this was the closest I've ever been to something like that. But yeah, I could hear them going up and down their stairs sometimes, but I could never hear them talking. So it was really weird. Simon Hurley. Hello, Simon. How are you doing? I think this is one of yours. Isn't this one of your stencils? I'm pretty sure this is one of yours. Elizabeth, can you remember if this was Simon's stencil? I'm pretty sure it was. This was, of course, I don't have all my stuff out. Yes, it was. No wonder he likes it, because it's this one. So yeah, we're playing with foil. I do a lot of hot foiling. So today I am playing with regular toner foiling to show that yes, you could do, yes, it is your tiny hearts. But you know what, Simon, you don't have a tiny heart. You have a big heart. And we love you. Have you decided if you're going to Creativation yet? Because it's in like 2 weeks. But yeah, I think that one turned out really nice. The other ones are not quite dry yet. So now, because I'm putting everything in a bin as I use it, I need to use another one. And this is one that I have no idea what the name of it is. I just know that it looks like streamers and confetti. And I think that's kind of cool. And here's another piece of that paper that was kind of that I'm used. Well, actually, there's 3 pieces of one of the same paper packs. This one's got a little bit of a Celtic design at the bottom, and I think that's kind of cool, but I'm going to just put some confetti on it. Oh, awesome! I am so excited. I'm going to be going with Amanda from Pear Blossom Press, so we're going to be meeting up there, and my in-laws live up there, so it's real easy for me for that. And that means I'll get to meet you in person. So yes, guys, I will make sure that I take at least a picture, probably video with Simon if he's up to it. I'm sure that he will, because he's super awesome that way. But yeah, I'm excited. That'll be so awesome. Fantastic. I also was looking down the classes, and because I don't know what classes I want to take, but I do know that Erin Reed is doing a class on making short form video. So of course you're good at that. I'm not, so I need to take Erin's class. But it's going to be cool to be able to hang out with her again too. She is such a sweetheart. I am looking forward to seeing everybody there. We still have to figure out things on this end. Todd still has to make our... I'm sure that I will. I will find you. I know I will find you, because I'm just going to be wandering around and meeting people and chatting and all of that kind of stuff. Todd still has to get our airline reservations and stuff done, but it turns out we've got a kitty problem. My cat apparently has got some kind of stomach issues and has been using the kitty box a lot more than she should. So... Oh, of course, that's because we love Simon's stuff. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have some of his stamps, I have some of his dies, I have some of his stencils, and I've got most of his lunar pastes. Lunar pastes are probably the thing. Actually, I have some on my desk. But yeah, I've got those. I have not tried any of the inks yet because I've got so many inks, and I have not been buying any inks pretty much in like 2 years. It's like I do have a couple of new Catherine Poolers because of the top that we just did, but I haven't been buying any new inks. No. Last year's was in Florida. So Creativation is going to be in Columbus, Ohio, and that's going to be the weekend of the 1st. And then at the end of May, I think it is, Scrapbook Expo is going to be here in Florida. Actually, there's going to be one in Orlando, and I think it was Heather that was saying in your group yesterday that there's going to be a second one like a few weeks later in Bradenton, I think. Both of those are within driving distance. I mean, Bradenton is kind of closer to Tampa, so it is a bit further away for me. Where can you steal a ticket? Well, they're not open to the public. They are for creative professionals, which I would say that you are considered one. And to get into it, it would be basically if you're affiliated with somebody who wants to get you in with them, or you can get a creative professional membership with NAMTA, which runs about $200, which I am very seriously considering going ahead and getting this year. I'm looking over the other benefits and stuff in there. Lakeland. Okay, for some reason I was thinking it was Bradenton, but Lakeland and Bradenton are close together. So yeah, I know where that is. That's south of me. That's south of Orlando too. Anyhow, and somebody's calling me and it's always spam. Someday, absolutely. Now, if if Crescent Creation was going to be there, I would say she needs to bring you. I just really lucked out. It's a trade show instead of a consumer craft show. So that's kind of the way that it works. It's the companies basically chatting with one another and promotional and all that kind of stuff. And that's something that I didn't really understand to begin with, but now I kind of know what it is, and it's perfect for what I want to do because of taking my channel kind of to the level above hobbyist, if that makes any kind of sense, or attempting to do that. And I know that is exactly where you are, Miss Elizabeth. Okay, so this one is just going to be some confetti. There's not going to be a lot on there, but I'm thinking I can probably just use some reds on there, and that'd be kind of cool. And this one, you can see the design. Oh, they're not going? Crystal says that the Scrapbook Expo is not going to Colorado, to Denver this year. Yeah, I don't know exactly where they all are. I know they're going to a lot of places, and Florida is kind of a big state. You don't really think of it as a big state, but it's a very long state. So, I mean, okay, from here to Key West is about 8 hours. From here to Panama City Beach is, I think, about like 5. So we're kind of right in the middle of all that, and it takes forever to get anywhere. There's a lot of stuff that's close, but it's kind of when you want to get to the other edge of the state, it takes a while. I'm right now positioned kind of in the center of the center, so it takes about 45 minutes to an hour each way to go to the beach. So say I wanted to go to Daytona, it would take 45 minutes to an hour to get there. If I want to go to Disney, about the same amount of time. Cocoa is about 45 minutes to the beach. So it's kind of a good positioning. And the only reason I'm in this part of Florida is that my late husband's family grew up here. Or whether he grew up here, well, actually, I think they grew up here too. And my late husband's my late husband's mom still lives in this area. I haven't gone to see her in a bit, and I want to, but it's kind of between being really busy and having been sick and making sure you've got I'm still working on getting my endurance up. So I'm really excited that I did my extra walk this morning. I'm going to try to start doing that every day. If I can do that every day, I can create a habit with it, and then I will definitely get into better shape. So that is the reason it was getting sticky. Because I was doing that, using the scraper, I wanted with this thin line of adhesive right along the edge, which is cool if that's the design that you want, but it kind of is a pain when you're trying to pick it up and you can't do it because everything is all messy. Okay, so I'm going to put this one up where the other one was, and actually, the spiral looks like it is pretty dry, so that's going to be cool. And I'm thinking gold. The gold spiral on that brown, so you'll just see the lines of the brown in the background. I think that'll look really cool. And I know I've got some of the gold because I was using it earlier today. If I can remember where I put it. So here's my silver. Here that's the green. Okay, I'm putting those there so they're out of my way so I don't make a tremendous mess. What did I do with the gold? I hate it when I lose stuff. I'll be right back again. At least I can still talk to you while I'm up. So here's a red. I know I'm going to want to use some red, but I don't know where my gold went. Which means the gold is around here on my desk somewhere. I mean, I just had one of these. This time I am going to blame it on Elizabeth because she stole it. Hi, Rudy. This one, yes, Susan, this one is the Transfer Gel Duo, and it dries sticky. There is another version that is just the Transfer Gel. They no longer sell it, and I have it. And this is mostly full. This one is actually more empty than this one, meaning I had not used up as much of this before I started using this, and they stopped carrying it. So of course, because they don't carry it anymore, I tend to do a lot of videos in front of you guys, so I'm showing it. This one you have to use with a laminator. This one, because it stays sticky, you don't have to use any heat. And that's the reason that they went with the Duo. It's kind of like 2-in-1 Tombow 2-in-1 glue. It's the same thing. Duo means it's the 2-in-1. Okay, I know I have that foil here somewhere. Now I'm irritated, which means I'm going to pull out some of that I know I've got in a different area. That is hot foil, and we're going to show that you can use, if it's all that you've got, you can use hot foil for this. So this is a hot foil, and you may have, well, you will see it in the video that is coming out tomorrow, because I just finished editing that video, and it was one where I used this specific roll of hot foil to do my project that I did for that video. So I'm just going to lay this right down on top. And it's sticky to my mat. And I'm going to trim it off. And of course now I've got adhesive on my scissors, so it's trying to adhere onto everything. Then I'm going to bring up, like I did before, my Platinum 6, and I'm going to just sandwich it in between two plates. And I am using two clean plates once I remember where I put the other one. I am losing my brain today, guys. I am so sorry. Okay, here's another one that's fairly clean, and I'm trying to use a clean and not one that doesn't have any damage in it, which is one of the nice things about using the Magic Mat. You don't do as much damage to your plates. I'm trying to do that to try to make sure that everything stays nice and clean and doesn't put any kind of weird imprints into the foil. Now I'm just going to crank it through, and this is going to add some pressure to that foil that is being adhered on to the Duo Gel. Run it back through. Probably don't have to run it through twice, but I do it. And one thing that I've noticed is when you are using, and I can see the circle, I've got a circle here where I accidentally cut into my plate, and looking at this, I can see that circle right there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. So you see that circle? That's what I was talking about, trying to use a clean plate, one that's not damaged. There's that circle from my plate, which means this one is a cleaner one, so I should have used it instead. And get this up and out of the way. But what that pressure did is it is helping with getting everything basically burnished in. Okay, so it's pressing all of the foil in, and it is still trying to stick to my desk. Okay, so let's go ahead and reveal the beauty. And you can see the foil stuck into that transfer gel. And I think that is gorgeous. Okay, so Elizabeth was saying that yes, sometimes it can wind up not being sticky, and then you can reheat it to start the stick again. So I think that turned out pretty well. There are some places that it looks like, I'm thinking I must not have gotten, it must have been too thin and there wasn't enough transfer gel there. It doesn't feel sticky in the little places that got gaps, but I think that still turned out really, really nice. This is actually one of my favorite stencils at the moment. Too cool. Okay. Next, and I am going to need to trim off the edges because I'm one of those people that if I put this onto a card, oh, you don't see the circle now. Okay. I did see it on this part though, when I had it on there. But I'm glad it's not showing up on here. Now I'm looking, oh, I can see it. There's a circle right there. But you really can't see it that much. If I hold it just right, you can see a little bit of it. But you really have to be looking for it. Nobody that gets a card with this is going to notice it. It's just like any other time we're making anything. If you have a place on your card that you don't like because you don't think it's what you wanted, you can just cover it with an embellishment and it'll be fine, right? Okay, so we've got those two. And it turns out that I do not have any of the brown regular foil, but here's another thing. Somebody was asking me during that live stream Q&A after the summit whether or not you could use this on regular foil. And I said yes, but I had never tested it. Now I've tested it, so we've got it as we have physical proof that it works. It's not a theory anymore, right? Which also means that I think I have some brown foil in here. If not in this bin, in my other bin. Nope, it's not in this one, so I'll have to go and get it out of my other one. But that means I've got some brown foil I can use for those coffee beans. And I think that one is almost dry. So let me grab that. I love that this stuff dries as quick as it does, you know? So yes, I am sliding things out of a cabinet to get to the others. That's why I tried to keep my most commonly used hot foils right there beside me. And then I've got another bin that's got all the rest of them. And I think copper is probably going to be a really good one for this. But this copper will look real nice as some coffee beans. And that one looks mostly dry. There are a few little spots that are still white. And this one, I think this one is pretty much dry too. There's a couple places I'm not 100% sure on. Let me just take another quick look. Yeah, I think this one is actually dry enough, so I'll go ahead and do it and move the finished one out of the way. And this one I also wanted to use some of the green. So we're going to use that deep dark green. That's going to be the leaves on top of that pretty green knitted kind of pattern. And yes, I'm just doing it this way because I found that it's actually a little bit easier than me trying to cut the paper, cut the foil and then put it on the paper and have it actually line up right. I'm probably going to waste a little bit of my foil. Actually, I'll just have some waste foil to use on smaller foiled items. This is still going to work out fine. I just have some scraps. Okay. And I can see where some of the adhesive is on the back, which means it would stick to my plates. So this time I'm going to put the plate that has the little circles cut into it on the bottom. Put it between the two and let's just run it through. And this is another one of Simon's. Might help if I put the whole thing on the platform. There we go. Now this is another one of Simon's stencils. Can you use a heat gun to dry the gel? I don't know. I haven't tried that. But it also doesn't take that long to dry. So I mean, I haven't actually used a heat gun to dry a lot of different kinds of gels. That's probably something that'll be on my experimentation to-do list. Okay, it's not wanting to come off of my plate. Okay, let's do like we did the first one. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the foil. And that, I love that background. That looks really nice. And now I can actually see under it to be able to get it off of the plate. Yeah, I've got both of those over here, and that's the thing. I don't know if it would work for this or if it would do any kind of damage. It probably wouldn't do any damage, but I don't know if it would actually speed anything up. This doesn't really take that long to dry. But I love that one. I'm thinking a nice big flower or something in the middle would be so pretty on that. Yeah, love, love, love it. Okay. Then the last one we have left is this guy. And I'm going to say it's dry enough. I'll bring that out again so you can see it. But yeah, there are so many ways that you can play with foil. And this one is copper. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out and we're going to put it over my coffee beans. I think that's going to be kind of cool. And the only brown, this is the only brown that I think I've got, or brownish. And does it have dust on it? No, I think it's just a little bit damaged on part of it. Nope, that was just dust. So I'm wiping the dust off of the front and just place that right down on top. And this one, I'm going to cut it a little bit further up because I know I didn't cover the entire panel and I can see where it is adhered. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can see kind of where it is adhered down to the coffee beans from that gel. And you can just press your foil on there and pull it up like that, if you know, pull it straight up if you want. But putting it through your die cutting machines means it's going to press into that adhesive better, and it should give you a better impression. Pulling it up now would probably give it a more distressed look. So again, we've got this, and I've got my marred one on the bottom and my good one on the top, and we're going to just run it through. And now we have it covered in coffee beans. Now, one thing you might notice is that it is a little bit smushed, and that is kind of normal. Some of the bits of the transfer gel do kind of merge in the center where the line is, but I think that also kind of gives it a little bit of a rounded bean look too. So I think that looks pretty cool. But yeah, this copper worked great to make us some coffee beans. And nobody reminded me that I was going to mask off this bit down here so I didn't transfer. But I am able to scrape some of that off. Probably not going to be able to scrape it all off, but nobody else is really going to notice that I made a mistake. But yeah, I think that turned out pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of the panels that I did today, as long as I can find them. Oh, I have one more. I forgot. I've got this one more that is going to be some confetti, and I'm going to do that one in some red. That's the reason I have my red out. So let me get these out of the way. That's my other one that I had lost. Again, just sending it right on through. One reason that I usually come back with it is just to get it back to me instead of having to pull it up and around. And that's just because of the amount of space on my desk. And I still do this. It's like there's no reason to wave it when you don't need it to cool off, because this is not hot foil. So now we've got a confetti panel. And it's got a little bit of trim on the edge because, like I said, I did get a little extra of the transfer gel along those edges, but that still looks kind of cool too. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of those one more time. And one thing I do want you guys to remember, especially since I always tell you that if I can do it, you can too. I have not practiced this in months. I haven't done any of it in quite a while. I think the last time I did it was around Halloween, I think. And before that, it was probably this time last year. So it's only been a couple of times this year that I've even played with foil in this way. Not that I don't love it, but I just haven't had time and had it added to my things to do. But still, look at the results with not having done it in quite a while. They just turn out fabulous. This one's not as shiny because I hand burnished it. I think that if I send it through my, if I had sent it through my die cutting machine like I did all the others, probably would have turned out better. Also, if I put, if I had let the transfer gel dry on the stamp a little bit more, it probably worked out better. So I probably need to do that as another live stream in a couple of weeks if that's something you guys are interested in. So what do you guys think? Do you think these look good? Bigger question is, do you know now that you can do it too? That's the big thing. Do you think you can do it? Because I would love to see what you make. Nobody is talking in the chat. Okay, Leah likes them. Okay, now that Leah says they look good, I'm happy. That is what counts. Okay, do want to let you guys know I'm going to do another live stream on Sunday at 4 p.m. This is going to be a foiling Q&A. It's kind of a follow-up to the live that I did after the Cardmaker Success Summit, or during the Cardmaker Success Summit, I should say. During the summit, I did a class as part of as my presentation for the summit. I'm doing a hot foil class. And there were a lot of questions that were answered that I did not get to. I mean, I found out after the fact that there were more questions than I had time to answer. So I am going through all of the questions that were asked during the summit, and I'm going to be answering the questions that I missed, probably going back over some of the ones that were asked at the time, and anything new. So if you guys have got any hot foil questions, be sure to pop into that. And for that matter, if you, I think I'm going to start a Discord area and or a place on my Facebook page, just so that you can add comments with new questions that you may have having to do with hot foiling or that presentation that I did if you made it to the summit. But that's what that one's going to be on Sunday about. I don't know that I'm going to do any crafting, but it is basically going to be a Q&A, and I may pull out my hot foil machines just to kind of show what's going on. Okay, so Elizabeth is saying, I have a whole pile that I need to turn into cards. Susan says, I can't wait to try it. I have never opened my transfer gel. Oh my God. Do you have the transfer gel or the transfer gel duo? Because there's two different ones and one's discontinued and I have both. So that means that if you, what I use today is the transfer gel duo. So it'll have the duo as part of the name. The other one is just the transfer gel. Okay, so if it's okay, you do have the transfer gel. So if anybody has the transfer gel and wants to see more about how to use that using your laminator, it's the same thing. All you do different is instead of using your die cutting machine, you use your laminator that's nice and hot. That is basically the only thing different. But if you would like to see that, you know, let me know and we can definitely do something on that. Also, I am still planning my future classes. So if there's any kind of anything that you are interested in possibly going to a class on, always let me know so that I can put that on my list of ideas to work on. Next card making class is on the 25th, and we are going to be playing with some hot foil. Okay, so Linda says, love all the backgrounds. Have a good night all. Fantastic. Is anybody that is currently in the chat that are my buddies, are any of you guys going live like now? Dawn is not going live, but I'd be happy to raid you and bring everybody over into yours. For you guys that are new, that is actually a new feature, a new-ish feature. It's been around for probably about 6 months that YouTube has. As long as the receiving account or the receiving YouTube channel has given permission to, we can basically leave my stream and go to theirs. And I think that is super cool. There are a lot of channels that don't have it set up, may not know about that. Okay, Elizabeth says, nope, not I, heading off to Nap Nap Land. Fantastic. Okay, well, that means that it's going to be it for tonight. Thinking of what I have coming up. Tomorrow's editing day. Thursday, I will be live on Twitch. I'm planning on going probably sometime between noon and 2 o'clock. So if you have a Twitch account and want to join me over there, that would be great. I may be doing some crafting. I may be playing a game or something. Have not decided 100%. I'm probably going to do both. It is what it is, and it will be going live again on Thursday, and my next video is going to be up tomorrow. Okay, well, you guys have you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I played with some transfer gel, and I will see you the next couple of days. Bye, guys.
Oh, oh. There's nothing like the way that you adore me. I can feel love from miles away. And the light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay.